Hi, my name is Dr. Aram Elias. I'm a board certified dermatologist. I've been in practice for almost 20 years and raised 3 children. So what's unique about me is that you'll get a lot of practical expertise that's based in medical knowledge in the literature, but also practical everyday experiences and having dealt with thousands of patients over the years, well over 100,000 patient visits, where I can really tell you what my patients have experienced and what makes sense, because it's one thing to tell you to do one thing that's almost impossible to achieve. So we want to make sure that every recommendation here is practical, affordable, and just makes sense. So subscribe now and make sure you keep up with all of our videos. So let's talk facial cleansers. Facial cleansers is an interesting category of products only because this isn't something that you necessarily use your entire life. We often start by using these probably in late elementary school, early middle school. That's when you really start to separate out your shower routine in terms of cleansing and just sort of need-based cleansing, say when there's something on your skin that you need to wash off, from just routine cleansing that might need to be maintained outside of the shower. That's when parents will come in and ask me to sit down and talk to their kids about a routine that includes things like using a facial cleanser every day. Now, in terms of whether or not this is necessary, it's true that there's not a lot of great studies out there that have really evaluated the practical needs for the general population using a cleanser, but there are some studies that actually do support the use of facial cleansers in managing and treating acne. So how do facial cleansers work? Now, first off, let's separate out facial cleansers from bar soap. So facial cleansers are the liquid version of a product that's intended to clean your skin, but specially formulated for the sensitive skin of our face. So that can vary for a lot of different people. Bar soap can achieve the same thing. It can achieve that same type of clean, but with one little caveat in that bar soap works by cleaning your skin by also altering the pH of your skin. And if that product is not pH balanced, then you might actually find that you get a residue that builds up on your skin that might need to be addressed separately from your cleanser. Or you might actually find that your skin feels more dry, irritated, a little more taut, so you're going to need something to balance out that hydration. So if you did want to use bar soap, we'll go over that as well. But that being said, facial cleansers are sort of in a separate category of products that have been set aside to really directly address the needs of your facial skin. Now, the ingredients that are common to all facial cleansers out there would be the presence of surfactants. Surfactants are the workhorse of our products. They are what's responsible for basically cleaning our skin through a detergent activity, where you have these molecules that come along that attach to the hydrophobic products in your skin, the oil-based products, and a hydrophilic end that pulls those products away from your skin when the water comes along and pulls them away. That's what's essential to every cleanser. We also have other ingredients in that product that might be more driven towards helping the viscosity or the texture of the product, so that when you put it in your palm of your hand, it doesn't kind of slip through your fingers. These would be things like viscosity agents, humectants, and emollients that thicken the product overall and help you easily apply it. There's also going to be pH balancers or pH stabilizers, which again is what differentiates them from bar soap, and a kind of category of, say, other, where you're going to have products in there that might fall under a category of, say, fragrances or other types of emollients or moisturizers that might assist your cleanser in really keeping your skin hydrated along the way. And lastly, you're going to have preservatives. Preservatives have to be there. As much as we talk about preservatives, if you didn't have a preservative in the product, then there will be bacterial overgrowth or other types of microorganisms. So in order to maintain freshness and to maintain that product in its best state, we have to have preservatives. The main way that I tend to see products differentiate themselves in the cleanser category would be, first off, the surfactants chosen. So say, for example, you see a product that's sulfate free. That generally means they've chosen surfactants that are not sulfate based. We'll talk about sulfates in a minute. The second would be the preservatives chosen. So you may see products that are paraben free, and that usually means that they have chosen other preservatives outside of parabens in the place of paraben to put in that product. You may see fragrance-free products. You may see products that have foam or no foam, because again, that can change up some of the properties of the products. And then another big category would be whether or not there are active ingredients in that cleanser designed to address specific skincare challenges. We'll talk about those actives in separate videos only because those are very specific to those skincare challenges. Sulfates have become this ingredient that everyone has learned to love to hate without really understanding why. Sulfates are not necessarily bad, but they are pretty good at what they do, which can leave you with too much of their effect. Basically, what sulfates are is a surfactant. Sulfates are very good at their detergent activity of removing oil, dirt, and debris from your skin. However, for some people, this may be a bit harsh for their skin depending on their particular skincare needs. And in facial cleansers in particular, they might be the ingredient that's responsible for stinging or burning in your eyes when you use them if you are prone to this tendency. So I'd say for facial cleansers, if your goal is to find a product that's a little less drying, a little less irritating to your skin, and you've tried other things that haven't kind of fit that bill, or if you tend to find that it's frustrating to use facial cleansers because your eyes burn or sting afterwards, this would be a great reason to consider sulfate-free products. But if you really haven't been faced with those challenges, then it's not an unreasonable ingredient to have in your product because there's nothing necessarily truly wrong with it. It just works at what it does. Parabens falls under that category of ingredients that people have learned to love to hate as well, and it's a frustrating one because there's a lot of sort of misunderstanding or misinformation out there. Parabens are at their core preservatives. So they are a preservative that you'll find in skincare products very often because they control the overgrowth of bacteria and other microorganisms, which again maintains freshness of your products. Yes, there are other preservatives that can be chosen, so it is true that it's perfectly fine to choose a paraben-free product, but the reason why they got a lot of attention was there was a study almost 20 years ago that tried to link them to breast cancer. And if you haven't kept up with all the sort of ingredients out there and the buzz behind them, there always seems to be some study that tries to link different ingredients to different types of cancers, and some of these are really hard to trace because you might have sort of associations, but not sort of a direct causal link. So it's tough to say what the story on parabens are, only because of course we always have to study these products further. But the one thing I'll say is there hasn't been a lot of data out there that further support this link. And I also think that my bigger concern is that when you use alternative preservatives that have not been well studied, then of course I'm still worried about the same possible links. The bottom line, though, is the amount of paraben in any product is pretty regulated. Getting a product with a foam or without a foam when it comes to facial cleansers is a bit of a personal preference when it comes to user experience. It is true that the presence of a foam will probably make this product a little bit more drying to your skin compared to others because that foam is partially responsible for cleaning and debriding your skin. So it will make the product more effective at doing so, and for some this can be drying or irritating. However, as with everything else, there are some personal things to take into consideration. I have plenty of patients that'll tell me they just don't like the product if it doesn't foam. They don't feel like they're clean. Sometimes they feel like those products without a foam just don't feel like they wash off as effectively. They get a little frustrated because they have an expectation of an experience with their cleanser that's not met always by a non-foaming cleanser. So it's not that there's one way that you have to do things, but you have to do what's best for you and your personal experience with the product. Also just recognizing that if you do choose a foaming cleanser and you're left feeling a little drier, you might need to follow it up with a moisturizer to combat any dryness that you might experience. If you can tolerate a non-foaming cleanser and you tend to feel like your cleansers are a little too effective, that might be another way to avoid excess dryness. La Roche-Posay makes both a regular cleanser and a foaming cleanser, sulfate-free and fragrance-free. Neutrogena's foaming cleanser is fragrance-free, while their Hydro Boost hydrating cleanser is sulfate-free, paraben-free, and phthalate-free. CeraVe is a very popular brand these days, and it has a paraben-free, fragrance-free product, as well as a foaming facial cleanser that's fragrance-free. I do like the Aveeno Calm, Restore, Nourishing Oat Cleanser because it's fragrance-free, paraben-free, sulfate-free, and phthalate-free. Olay has a gentle foaming face wash that is also soap-free. And Cetaphil has been a tried and true for a long time. As a daily facial cleanser, it's paraben-free and sulfate-free.